Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into the latest developments in the really competitive world of artificial intelligence. We've sifted through quite a few sources, mainly a recent CNBC piece, to look at a pretty significant move by Google and, well, what it really means for the whole AI landscape. Our mission, as always, is to break down the core ideas, the implications, make it clear, concise, engaging, so you walk away really knowing what's going on.
Exactly. And what's interesting here isn't just the huge sums of money, but the subtle shifts it shows in how these big tech companies are fighting for the future of AI. What really jumped out at you first about this specific story?
Okay, so the big news, it revolves around Google making a pretty strategic play to, well, scoop up top AI talent. The headline grabber is Google entering what people are calling the AI talent wars by hiring Varun Mohan. He's the co-founder and CEO of this AI coding startup, Windsurf. And it wasn't just him. They brought over other senior R&D people from his team, too.
Right, bringing in a CEO and their team. That feels significant. It suggests they're not just after individuals, maybe they want an established way of working, a whole mindset. What does that really mean for Google's strategy? Is it just about moving faster, or is this something, more fundamental?
Oh, it's definitely fundamental. It signals Google wants to advance their work in agentic coding. That's the key phrase. They want to directly use Windsurf's expertise to boost their own AI model, Gemini, specifically for software developers. Windsurf is apparently known for VibeCoding, which isn't just basic code completion. It's more like collaborating with the AI. It suggests patterns, refactors code.
Okay, so it can even write whole functions based on natural language prompts.
Exactly. So Google's essentially acquiring this very specialized skill set. It helps the AI understand bigger tasks, plan things out, maybe even correct itself. That's a big step towards, well, autonomous development. But here's the real kicker, and maybe the most interesting part of Google's strategy here. They didn't actually buy Windsurf, not the whole company.
Wait, really? So what did they do? They paid $2.4 billion.
Right. They paid $2.4 billion, but it was for a non-exclusive license to Windsurf's technology. And crucially, for the compensation packages for these key employees they hired. Windsurf itself, still independent. They can still license their tech to other companies.
Huh. That's a very unique deal structure, especially for that kind of money. A non-acquisition talent and license deal. Why would Google go that route instead of just buying them outright? What's the advantage, and what does it mean for Windsurf's future?
Well, according to the sources, it looks like a pretty clever move. For that $2.4 billion, Google gets the elite talent, they get key tech. But without the usual headaches of a full acquisition, like integration issues, maybe antitrust concerns, it's a faster, lower friction way to get Windsurf's agentic coding smarts into their Gemini model.
Right, and Windsurf gets to keep doing its thing, focusing on enterprise, maybe.
Exactly. The sources say most of Windsurf's world-class team will continue to build the Windsurf product with the goal of maximizing its impact in the enterprise. So Windsurf keeps innovating, Google potentially benefits later, and they've already got the core team. Douglas Chen, another co-founder, he's also joining Google. It really solidifies that talent transfer. And this whole deal, it just throws a spotlight on how intense these AI talent wars have become. Apparently, before Google came along, Windsurf was talking to OpenAI about an even bigger deal, reportedly $3 billion for a full acquisition. But that one fell through.
Wow, okay, so Windsurf was clearly a very hot commodity, a key piece on the board in this battle for AI minds. How does this stack up against other moves we've seen? Is this sort of talent poaching or these kinds of deals becoming the norm?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely part of a much larger trend. It really is like a high-stakes game now. You've got Meta making, quote, lucrative job offers to OpenAI staff. And remember, they brought in Alexander Wang, the Scale AI founder.
Right, as part of that huge $14.3 billion investment in Scale AI to lead their AI strategy.
Exactly. And Google did something similar last summer with Character.ai. Amazon's done it with Adept. Microsoft with Inflection. These tech giants are all making similar moves, absorbing top talent, sometimes through these non-traditional deals. The scramble is definitely on.
Let's maybe circle back to VibeCoding for a second. That's Windsurf's specialty. It's apparently gaining popularity pretty quickly, not just with developers, but even non-developers are using these kinds of tools. The sources mentioned this trend has boosted revenue for Windsurf, but also for competitors like Cursor. OpenAI was apparently looking at Cursor too.
Okay, so if vibe coding is taking off like that, what does that really mean for software development overall? Is it just another tool, maybe a niche thing? Or is this pointing towards a really fundamental change in how software gets made? Like, the AI is just a tool. It's almost a collaborator. It certainly seems like a significant shift. I mean, look at Microsoft. They're pushing this agent mode in Visual Studio Code, specifically for vibe coding. That shows they believe in it. And maybe the biggest indicator, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said back in April that AI is now composing something like 30% of his company's code.
30%?
Yeah, 30%. That's a huge number. It's not just about speed anymore. It suggests the developer's job is shifting. Less writing basic code, more high-level design, problem solving.
So the AI becomes like a co-pilot, anticipating what you need.
Sort of, yeah. It's reshaping the whole creative process for building software.
Yeah.
So let's try and pull this all together. What are the key takeaways from this Google Windsurf situation?
Well, first, I think it shows Google's really sophisticated strategy, acquiring top talent, cutting-edge tech, but without the baggage of a full buyout. Very tactical.
The creative deal-making.
Second, it just underlines the fierce and escalating AI talent war. These companies are paying enormous sums and finding new ways to snap up the best minds.
The valuations are just staggering. And third, it highlights the rise of these advanced AI coding tools like VibeCoding. They're not just concepts anymore. They're being adopted rapidly and are already changing how software actually gets built.
Which really leaves us with a big question for you, the listener. If AI is already writing, a third of the code at a company like Microsoft, what does that actually imply for the future, for programming careers, for how fast innovation happens, maybe even for how we interact with computers day to day? It's definitely something worth thinking about as these talent wars keep reshaping everything in tech.